Hey everybody, Brigham with Drift here. In this video, we're talking about the new Amplid Time Machine. This is a new board in the Amplid Centrifugal series. It's replacing the Surfy, and I'm excited to tell you about it. But before I get into those details, you can check out my specs and my biases below. We own the boards we talk about, get them in a variety of conditions, and then we let you know what we think. So the first thing you should know about this is that this is the first time that I've been able to get a board a season ahead of time before it comes out and ride it and review it. So I want to give a shout out to Amplid for that. I would love to do more of that in the future with any brands out there. I was able to get a time machine and also the new mood bender, which I'll do in another video. As I mentioned, this replaces the Surfy. It looks very similar and it has a similar feel as far as like design and construction and quality and all of that. But it is pretty different, and that's primarily because it is full camber. So Surfy's out, replaced with a board that they are saying is more focused on carving and brings that full camber flavor. There is a little bit of new tech here. Doesn't really feel too much different from the previous Centrifugal series boards, and that brings me to the second thing. New tech or not, this has that awesome Amplid Centrifugal feel. I recommend it to everybody, especially if you love trying out different snowboards. It's a unique feel and it's a really good one. And the main thing to me is it's very damp and smooth, but it still is lively and responsive. They just do a really good job of balancing those two things. On the downside with the Centrifugal series, they are pretty expensive. You're paying for the latest and greatest tech. You got to decide how important that is to you. But I do think that you're paying for some real things. These boards feel really good. And then the other downside is these do come in limited sizes. So this one's a 160 and a 155. In a lot of situations, the 160 was fine for me. In a perfect world, I would definitely have this be a little bit wider for me and probably a little bit longer. Like a 163 would probably be perfect for the way I wanted to ride this most of the time. Third thing you should know, as I mentioned, the marketing on this is that this is a carving board. This is Peter Bauer's go-to carving board. Now I gotta note, I'm not the greatest carver out there. So take what I'm about to say for what it's worth. It is a good carver, but to be really clear, I was more impressed with this as a more like aggressive all mountain / free ride board. It does carve well, but I don't think it really carves any better than, for example, any of Karua's carving oriented boards or the new Jones carving boards. I think there's a lot of boards out there that are just as fun as this on the corduroy, maybe even a little bit better. But as far as that marketing goes, I think they miss a little bit just how fun this is. Again, as kind of an all-mountain freeride board, of course it's going to be fun to carve, but I think it's capable of a lot more than that. I would actually say this is most similar in the boards that I've ridden to the Nitro Pantera, maybe a tiny bit toned down from the Pantera, but a board that you can pretty much do anything with, and especially be doing it very aggressively. Someone who wants to ride really hard and is in variable conditions, especially, firm snow and nasty snow. That brings me to number 4. That was my favorite thing about this board, is just amazing in bad snow. Maybe the best, at least one of the best boards I've ever ridden for just those days when it hasn't snowed in a long time. You're still going off the groomers and just riding nasty, chunky snow. It dang near makes that stuff fun. The only downside to that is with the full camber, if it's steep and really nasty, it can be a little bit unforgiving with those contact points all the way out there on the end. If you've got to make some quick, tight turns, it might be nice to have a little bit of a early rise in there. But even then, that's a minor thing. If you see a lot of firm snow and a lot of nasty snow, this thing's awesome. Fifth thing, as I've been talking about different snow conditions and how it does, I did get this into the backcountry. I did ride it in some powder. I would never pick it specifically for a powder day. Kind of how I feel about a lot of the modern full camber boards. They do better than I would expect in the POW, but it still just isn't what I would pick. Now, if you're somewhere where the snow's a little more dense, you don't see as much powder, you're getting maybe 3, 4, 5, up to 6 inches of snow, this is going to do fine. It's going to be able to handle that. If you're getting, really good, consistent powder days, and we're talking, 8, 9, 12 inches or more of powder, you're going to want something dedicated for that. But again, if you see a lot of bad snow, it's very hard to find something, I think, that's going to manage it better than this. So number 6, who's this for? This is for someone who knows how to snowboard well, who wants to ride aggressively. They're going to push hard all the time. They like a demanding board. They're comfortable with a demanding board. And in particular, they want a board that's going to handle firm snow, groomers, ice, and crud as a top priority, with softer, nicer snow, powder as a lower priority. So awesome board, awesome feel, kind of depends on what you want and what you're capable of. But yeah, if you love snowboards, you love trying different snowboards, you like to ride hard, push hard, highly recommend trying one of these from Amplid. They feel awesome, and I'm a huge fan. That's my review, the Amplid Time Machine. Thanks for checking it out, and we'll see you in the next video.